We literally just witnessed Kendrick Lamar defeat Drake in one of the most historic rap battles of all time. And after dropping a mega hit, chart topping diss record that bodied Drake, Not Like Us, the anticipation for a new Kendrick Lamar album is at an all-time high. Now that this battle is over, it's now time to see what Kendrick Lamar will do on this new album. I'm very curious to see where is Kendrick Lamar going to go with this new album. What's next for Kendrick? What topics? What themes? What will he be talking about on this new album? What type of production? Will the production be similar to Not Like Us and be more West Coast based? Who knows? Kendrick Lamar has one of the best discographies in hip-hop. Some will even say that every album he has released has been a classic, which I believe so. Now, I don't know what this next album by Kendrick will sound like, but if we look at his current discography, based off the themes and subject matter, we could probably take a guess of what this new Kendrick Lamar album may sound like. I believe there are two styles, two category type of albums that we've gotten from Kendrick Lamar over the years. Style number one is the overly artsy albums, and style number two is the moderate artsy albums. Now, the overly artsy albums that Kendrick Lamar have made is the albums To Pimp a Butterfly and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. The reason why these albums are overly artsy is because in order to really enjoy the music, you're not only getting hit with heavy subject matter, but you're also getting sonically a lot of experimental production. Production that doesn't necessarily fit into what modern rap music is sounding like at the time when these albums have dropped. The themes of these albums go very, very deep into covering personal and societal issues. To Pimp a Butterfly is an art piece that discussed the many layers and traumas in Black culture, racial inequality, institutional discrimination, Kendrick Lamar's own depression, and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is another heavy art piece that touches on self-growth, Black masculinity, childhood trauma, seeking true healing and going to therapy. These overly artsy albums that Kendrick Lamar make, in order to enjoy these, it's an acquired taste. These albums will be critically acclaimed, but some people may have a hard time enjoying these albums completely, and it may not have as much replay value because of the heavy subject matter mixed with Kendrick Lamar stretching his musical abilities on these albums. Songs like You, Blacker the Berry, Mortal Man, Mother Ice Sober, Auntie Diaries, We Cry Together are just to name a few songs off of these albums that are very nuanced and have so many mixed reviews due to the many layers within these songs. Of course, on every Kendrick Lamar album, he experiments a lot, but even the production, like I said earlier, on both of these albums, stay away from moderate sounds like the trap and the 808 sounds, even though there are some hints of moderate sounding elements in these albums. There are very few and very subtle moments of that, so the average listener may not receive it as well. Instead of just being copy and paste verses and hooks over beats, each song on Mr. Morale and To Pimp a Butterfly feels more like an art piece, vivid vignettes. These albums could be performed as stage plays, great timeless art pieces. But once again, these albums go so deep and are so artsy that it could be too much for some people. Now, for the second category, the moderate artsy albums, these albums are Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn. Just like To Pimp a Butterfly and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, these albums most definitely have a lot of heavy subject matter and a lot of layers of personal and societal issues. But the difference with these albums are they are a little bit more easier to digest for the casual listener, and they incorporate more moderate sounding production. These albums, Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn, is a good balance between making songs that are more digestible while still giving you those overly artsy moments as well throughout the album. Songs like Swimming Pools, Don't Kill My Vibe, Poetic Justice, Humble, Loyalty, and Love are all tracks from these albums that show how Kendrick is able to maintain that balance. So if we look at the pattern here, Kendrick Lamar dropped Good Kid, Mad City first, which was a moderate artsy album. Then he dropped To Pimp a Butterfly, which was a overly artsy album. Then he dropped Damn, which was a moderate artsy album. And then Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which was an overly artsy album. So I'm guessing that for Kendrick Lamar Lamar's next album is going to be something similar to Good Kid, Mad City and Damn, something that could be consumed by the average listener and will probably have a lot of replay value just like those albums. Now, this album will still have layers to it with personal and societal issues and topics, but it's going to have a lot of more catchiness to it, I believe. And a good hint of that is if the record Not Like Us is on the album. If Good Kid, Mad City is Kendrick Lamar giving you perspective of his city and neighborhood issues, and To Pimp a Butterfly is giving you perspective on all of black culture's issues, and Damn is giving you a perspective on the entire country and world issues, then having a full circle moment on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers of him coming all the way back to himself and focusing on his mental health and getting himself right. Since his last album was so much of an internal self-reflection project, I think on this new album, Kendrick will probably be talking about more what's going on in the world and what's going on in the culture and in society, more so than his own personal life, due to how personal that last album was. I could be wrong, I could be right. Let me know your comments and your thoughts. Until next time.